a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I just realized...
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
So before I make my choice yet again, I just realized the voice of the hero makes itself known shortly after we start descending towards the cabin. The narrator lays out the foundation for this whole story, or shenanigans, what you want to put it. And then the voice of the hero wakes up, because they're talking about a princess, and of course, innately in our mind, we think, oh, there's a princess, she needs saving, she's locked up in the basement. Therefore sprungs the voice of the hero up into the story. I thought maybe we perished once before the story is being narrated, but that doesn't make sense. So the voice of the hero is conjured from the story as we get immersed into this. So should we bring the blade, should we not? It's been a week since I played this, and I of course forgot what I did last time, as per usual. You know what, we're gonna take the blade.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Once again, I feel there's more options with the blade. God, it sounds very windy outside. Alright.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
Enter the basement. And already the story is changing with a very airy ambience.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here,
slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
Her voice carries up the stairs.
Narrator, you are predictable.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Let's go with, hi.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
Oh gosh, I put that last time, didn't I?
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
I still feel a bit lucky, because I feel that I haven't picked this last time, and then I pick it, but I get a different ending and different princess altogether. So this game seems to be very deep. Let's see if this happens again.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world? Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
What if I say I'm there to kill her and then don't? Steal your nerves and step forward, and then I don't.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
Oh? No talking then? Fine. What even makes you think you can kill me? I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
I'm not dropping the blade.
Then I'm not talking to you.
Drop the blade.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face. Unarmed. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
A relationship? Are you coming on to me?
Don't jump to any weird conclusions. We're two people who have met each other. By definition, we have a relationship.
Yeah, I think I did most of these before, so let's go straight to the action.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
Say the princess.
Doubt, unfortunately, clouds your thoughts as you attempt to run her through. A moment of distraction and hesitation is all she needed to sidestep your thrust and deliver a catastrophic blow to your jaw. It feels like you've been hit with a sledgehammer. You can feel bone grinding on bone where your jaw has been fractured. Holy shit, that hurts! Though she's unarmed, the shock of that first strike is enough to stagger you, putting you and the princess on somewhat equal footing. Your blade slashes through the air again and again, and her fists connect with your body as many times or more, each impact as heavy as that first bone-crushing hit. We can still turn this around.
Give up.
Are you serious? As internal bleeding sets in, the blade falls from your trembling hands, clattering to the ground uselessly. You lacked the will to finish the job, your bruised and broken body falling to its knees before her. The princess, exhausted, chest heaving with heavy breaths, tosses the blade away from you. This is the end, isn't it?
Is this really the best you could do? Look at you. Completely broken. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed.
She plants her foot on your chest and pushes you onto your back, the air leaving your lungs in a heavy puff. And then she brings her knee to your throat. She leans into it with the kind of weight you didn't think her slight frame could possibly possess, shattering your windpipe and leaving you starved for breath.
That's too bad. I was looking forward to some company.
Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
You have already committed to my completion. You cannot go further astray.
Huh. That's new.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We might as well just pledge ourselves to her and stop pretending we're capable of doing anything in this situation. She probably doesn't even need to try to overpower us. Can we tone down the pessimism just a smidge? I'm not being a pessimist. I'm just being realistic. You're being annoying. Just ignore their bickering, and whatever you do, don't pledge yourself to her. I cannot stress enough how absolutely catastrophic that would be for everyone, yourself included. I agree. If she's wrongfully imprisoned, then we should rescue her, but If he's telling the truth, we shouldn't just hand her the world on a silver platter. Rescue her? Given the stakes of the situation, there isn't really a difference between rescuing her and pledging yourself to her. Either would be terrible. So please try to ignore both of those knuckleheads and focus on saving the world. Let's not make this harder than it has to be. If that's what you want, I guess I don't have a say here. The interior of the cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a massive marble altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Why do we feel so small? We don't feel small. We are small. No blade this time. Yeah, maybe she'll be more receptive if we're unarmed. Blade, no blade, it doesn't matter. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a spiral staircase, its steps almost as deep as you are tall. The smell of incense drifts up from below. For a moment, you almost feel at ease. This is actually kind of nice. It's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her booming voice rolls up the stairs.
Is that a guest I hear? Don't linger on the stairs. Come down and witness me.
You weren't kidding when you said it was booming. She wasn't like this last time. You shouldn't have come down here unarmed. We need to get down there. She wants us to see her. We need to see her. Should we be worried about your sudden change in attitude? Just a few minutes ago you were going on about how pointless everything was. Now you want to go down there. It doesn't matter what that little voice says. He's not the one making the decisions. Though if his ramblings get you to the princess, they get you to the princess. Making your way down the spiral staircase is a time-consuming and exhausting effort, every step requiring you to clamber over one edge before dropping to the next. But soon the end comes into view, and you tumble to the bottom, entering the vast, temple-like room beyond. The princess towers over you, almost glowing in the weak starlight, her figure framed by a stained glass window. Her long hair billows around her, and a chain binds her wrist to the far wall. The chain is nothing to her. It might as well be a toy for all the good it would do. I told you it was pointless to resist her.
The little bird has returned to me. I wonder what he wants. I see your hands are empty. You've already given up, haven't you? You aren't even going to try and kill me. How sweet. And more than a little disappointing.
She's disappointed in us?
Kneel.
On her command, you fall to the floor, knees painfully connecting with hard stone.
That's my good little bird. Now, why don't we talk? The last time we met, you tried to kill me. And yet here you are again. This time groveling at my feet. What a wretched sight. What draws you back here beyond the empty halls of death? Speak.
The last time we met, nobody should have met her before this. You should be the first. You're the only one I'd trust to deal with her.
Then you shouldn't have trusted us. There was nothing we could do to stop her then. And there's nothing we can do to stop her now.
He's being melodramatic, but yeah, we've been here before and she absolutely destroyed us. What are we even supposed to do to stop her? That's worrying. Whatever you do, don't tell her why you're here. It's best not to give her any ideas. Are you serious? Just don't say anything. How hard can it be to not say anything?
You haven't felt her angelic fingers run along the edges of your mind. you haven't felt her nails dig into your thoughts.
You weak-willed buffoon.
Is that so?
The princess closes her eyes in contemplation.
Something about that thought wraps itself around my heart. It feels like a fundamental truth to my being that I'd somehow forgotten. The collapse of the old is a necessary prelude to the birth of the new, and the world as it is now is overdue for alterations. It's time for me to seize my destiny, and you, little bird, will help me seize it.
She's inevitable. There's nothing else for us to do but help her. Maybe she'll be nice to us.
Your will was so easily broken. Am I that magnificent? All you need to do now is break my chains.
If this is what you want, then I guess there's not much else for me to say.
No, you can't just give in to her. Not when the stakes are so high. Not when you're so close. I won't let you do this.
There's still something in the way. A greasy film inside of you where it doesn't belong, trying to conceal you from me. Is that a person? No, it used to be a person. It's something different now. An echo.
Is she talking about you? That's impossible. She's not supposed to be able to interact with me.
You're a small one, aren't you? A shriveling little worm stretched beyond its limits, trying to control things that it can't understand.
No. What are you talking about? I
don't care what you are. You're mine. Rise, my little bird.
Without hesitation, you're brought to your feet.
Break my chains.
And how are we supposed to do that? We don't even have a weapon. All you need to do is believe it's been done. Her chains shatter, and the cuff falls from her wrist. She is loose, and the end is upon us.
What a good disciple you are. Come, it's time for us to leave.
It seems that someone else takes your hand, and poof, out the window you go, into the long quiet. So I'm not sure who was controlling who there. She reached into the narrator's mind. The narrator screamed, like it did in my first playthrough. But they did say, breaking the chains is hard. You only have to believe that they have been broken. Then they will be broken. That is interesting. You do not take her hand, nor will you ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why now?
You approach the mirror.
This doesn't feel right. It feels different. Final. I don't want to look at us.
Your voices feel small, distant as you approach. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what's in it. You're withered. You find yourself in the long quiet once again, with the beautiful ambience. Stuck in the ground. You are at the cabin.
I am a growing chorus of contradiction, a mass of tides ebbing and flowing all at once in more directions than my attention can bear to hold. To look at any one is to shift them all into something new, and to look away is to reshape them yet again. All of me is changing, and yet the rest of me is still the same.
How many more vessels do I need to bring you? 2, I think?
We will know when we near our destination.
I'm ready to go back.
I will be here when it is time for us to meet again.
Everything goes dark and we die.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
So as you probably noticed, and as you probably are enjoying, I am not narrating much of this at the moment, because I've played through it a couple of times before, and I only want to see what's new, but at the same time I want to calmly and therapeutically narrate through this. Well, not me, but walk through this without skipping anything.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
Also gives me a chance to sort of sink slowly into it and patiently into it again.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Yeah, but I want to keep this beautiful, peaceful, ambient track for a little bit longer, so I'm going to enter the basement peacefully.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
I think I'm here to slay you.
You must have the wrong address.
Great job. You've given away the element of surprise. Good luck, hero. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
There's also a heavy ice to break after that introduction.
She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. You were joking about coming to kill me, right? Do you think you could get me out of these chains?
Well, I do need to bury you at one point, so I probably have to get you out of the chains. Ha ha, my jokes are funny, ha ha.
You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake. No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
So I'm wondering if I do something that would have led me to the Tower chapter, but I already completed the Tower chapter, then what happens? I believe the first time I played this, the Tower was the first continuation I ever got, and I got that by playing as passive as possible. I played the way I feel I would have reacted in that situation. So I'm gonna follow that path now.
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
Okay, I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here? You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that. Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal. No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it. Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive. The blade. Move the blade. As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her blade work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks. It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over.
As tragic as this ending is, it's sort of sweet how she kneels down and seemingly touches my face as I perish. This is just her survival instinct. She didn't want to die. But she seems to be truly sorry.
Everything goes dark, and you die.
Chapter 2, The Damsel. The Damsel? Have I had that?
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Maybe I had Damsel, but it doesn't ring a bell. It sounds like a downgrade from a princess.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
The music sounds a bit faded, as if it's coming from a radio or so.
If only you knew what you did to us, you villain. Excuse me?
The smitten is back.
Forget he said anything.
Yes.
But he is a villain. He made our beloved brutally take our life last time. He's trying to keep us apart, but he won't be able to withstand the power of our love.
It's the power of last
Time. What are you talking about? I think he just likes to hear the sound of his own voice. Let's try to ignore him. I do, but I also speak from the heart. My passions are too great to be stifled. They must be expressed. Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear them. Some things are better kept quiet. Don't pay their bickering any mind. Focus on the task ahead. The interior of the cabin is clean and elegant, its stone walls draped in fine-threaded tapestries, a prison befitting a royal prisoner. The only furniture of note is an ornate wooden table with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
Yeah, I would have remembered such a charming ambience. It feels like the standard music that comes as we approach the cabin, but with violins and more instruments.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
I started this path quite like a pacifist. I'm gonna continue that route. Oh, the music is so wonderful.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches positioned along the walls. The basement almost seems welcoming in the dim firelight.
It feels as if we're approaching, or have approached, Castle Brennenburg of Amnesia the Dark Descent. We approach the back hall.
But it's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
Come on, narrator, you can do better than that.
A soft voice carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Oh. Sounds as innocent as in the first chapter. Actually, a little bit more cheerful.
Her voice. It's somehow even more beautiful than last time. I think we're in love.
This guy right here. Always.
Okay, I'm with you that we should be doing whatever we can to save her, but saying we're in love is a bit much, don't you think? We don't even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this fawning. Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of the manipulation. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall. My love, we're here to rescue you from your unjust and foul imprisonment.
Oh, come on, Spitten. Go back up to the corner like all the other times.
You know she can't hear you, right?
I was about to say. I heard some of them can hear the voices. Some of the princesses can. Depends on the princess. But she probably cannot. She's not spectral enough.
She may not be able to hear my words, but surely she can hear my spirit. Oh, your spirit's plenty loud, all right.
It's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried you wouldn't come back.
The cheerful smile and all. My dashing hero, come back. How am I a hero if you're still in the chain? But she does have the memory. She remembers me from last time. She remembers that I didn't even want to kill her. And maybe the narrator won't be able to take over this time.
Did you hear that? She said we're dashing. And she called us a hero.
She called the voice of the hero a hero, so the hero is very heroic right now.
Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it? Waiting for you to come back. You've been here before, haven't you?
No, she's talking about you, narrator. She's very fond of seeing you, because but obviously you must have put her in here, right? Right?
That's right, villain. And you killed us.
Villain.
Well, she killed us.
Yeah, because of he. And I like that he's called a villain now.
Only because he made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty. And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. What matters is you have a chance to do it right this time.
How so? I don't have the blade with me, but maybe the same happens as last time, that the blade just appears out of nowhere.
We damned a whole world, but everything reset. Nothing resets, you're just somewhere else. You can't keep hopping between worlds forever, especially not without leaving a trail of incomprehensible devastation behind you. This is horrible.
You can't even tell, narrator. You can't even tell. You killed me last time and it hurt a lot. Why did you do that? Well, she didn't want to die. Instinct.
I'm sorry. Didn't you want me to?
What? You're bad at reading the room.
Did we?
No, we didn't. Well, maybe we did. Because our thoughts seem to shape the princess as we go. So maybe we didn't want to kill her at all. So as a last resort, since the narrator tried to take over us and stall us, and all of that. Well, we tried to stall the narrator. But the narrator tries to force our hands, so we froze in place. So maybe in our little last resort of our mind, we didn't want to kill the beautiful, innocent princess. We hoped that she would kill us instead. And maybe she that changed her in a way of, didn't you want me to?
We warned her of the cruel forces seizing our body. That's practically telling her to kill us. She is our beloved, and she made the choice to free us of our misery, to show us mercy and make the best decision for everyone.
My God, how do I respond to that? No. But yeah, we clicked warn her. We don't know how we warned her. Did we warn her by actually saying something? Because it doesn't seem like we speak much, if at all. Maybe we warned her telepathically. We warned her by letting her access a portion of our mind and changing her.
She made the best decision for her. Don't be so quick to assign kindness. You're just opening yourself up to manipulation.
I didn't bring a knife. Do I have to cut you out again?
I'm okay with whatever you come up with. You can cut my arm off again.
For old time's sake.
We won't be laying a finger on her perfect wrists, and indeed, we won't even have to. Do you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her right out with no harm done.
Oh well.
What? No, she's a prisoner here. You can't just slip her hand through the chains.
Maybe if we put our mind to it.
Why are you two arguing over the logistics of slipping her hand out of her shackles? She just said she'd be okay with any idea we came up with. Am I the only one here who thinks that's weird? She didn't care last time. Why should she care this time? That's our stoic, smiling angel. No, you're right. It's extremely bizarre behaviour and further evidence that she's a monster who's not to be trusted. So go ahead and slay her.
What happened after I died?
You died, and now we're talking.
Just instantly reset. Well, not resetting as the narrator puts it. But before we started talking, did the world end? Did you end the world? Because this is connected to how it was, and you have memories and all. I don't think the world ends. I think the world changes, as the princess says a few times. She said it in the Tower Act. The world needs alterations, not ending.
I don't know. Was I supposed to have ended the world? Would that have made you happy?
No. What is this?
Isn't that just like our darling princess? She wants to make us happy. My heart melts further with every word that passes through her beautiful lips. Are you listening to her? That's a confession.
No. No, I don't want the world to end. That's why I'm gonna kill you this time at the end. Because I feel that's the only thing I haven't done in the very ending. But we're having such a nice conversation right now.
Then I didn't end the world.
See? She didn't confess anything. She is innocence itself. I'm not so sure.
I'm sorry about what happened last time. Oh, he's gotta hit this. The narrator who sent me here to kill you took over my body. It was extremely unfair.
If another version of me was pushed to such drastic action, it was for good reason.
That's okay. You were just doing your best, and that's all that matters.
The toxic positivity princess.
She took that in stride. To a surprising extent. An almost unsettling extent, actually. That's because she's perfect. Do you think she has someone like him telling her what to do?
That's what I thought in the start, but I don't think so. Well, you never know, but I don't think so.
She doesn't. There's no one else like me.
There is in many universes, but I suppose I know what you mean.
I think he's right, because I like it better if she doesn't have some horrid little voice like him, always trying to drive her to violence.
Rescue the princess. That's just the option now. Rescue the princess.
No. I can't let you do that. If you take
No.
another step towards the princess,
No.
You'll what? Take over our body and force us to try and kill her?
I think if the other voices are prepared for this, he cannot do it. The same thing happened a couple of episodes back, where he wanted to take over, and the other voices sort of prohibited that. And even to the point where one of the voices made me chuck the blade out of the window. That wasn't the narrator, because the narrator wants us to keep the blade.
I would if you had a weapon. Not on my watch, villain. My passions contain titanic depths, and if you try anything that might harm our dearest, I will end our life without a second thought.
Like what happened in the first act, basically.
You wouldn't. I would. I'd listen to him if I were you. He has a lot of strong feelings. And doesn't the world end if we don't stop her? You approach the princess and gingerly slide her hand from her bindings. That shouldn't have worked. I'll be damned. We're doomed.
Because we put our mind to it. Somehow it worked. If not, if it was always like this, then why were we sitting here waiting? But yeah, I think she was trapped here until we came.
I can't believe it. But I guess I have to.
I told you, there's no life more worth living than that of a true believer.
I'm free, and you're not trying to kill me this time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The voice sounds a little bit like the one that had many blades spur from inside her and you turn into a killing machine. Slightly less mechanical. But it still sounded a little bit like that.
The princess jumps up and smothers you in a joyful embrace. Ugh, if only you had a weapon, one slip of the wrist and your pristine blade would be buried in her back and everyone out there would be saved. Luckily for Mr. Romance, we don't have a weapon. Who needs a weapon when we have the power of love on our side?
It's the power of love.
What do we do now?
We leave? What do you want to do?
Let me guess. End the world? Spoken with the rank cynicism of someone who has never felt love in his heart.
I don't actually know. Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted before.
Huh.
She doesn't even know what she wants. You may have had her all wrong. What if this whole thing is just a misunderstanding? What if she doesn't want to end the world?
My pacifism from the first act has made her reveal her mold self. We can mold and shape her into what we want. That sounds so wrong on so many levels, but she is basically the shifting mold. So,
You're so gullible. Is the only thing you've ever doubted the actual truth?
So I'm gullible, that's why she's gullible. Is that it?
I think I want to leave. And I think...
The princess closes her eyes in deep reflection.
Yeah?
And then she shrugs.
Ani, what do you want to do?
I was hopeful that you would say something else, but okay. I want you to tell me what you want.
I just want to make you happy.
What happened with the ambience? What's going on in the ambience? It's so woozy, it's so... Ugh. What happened with your eyes? What's wrong with your eyes?
She can't just want to make us happy. It makes sense to me. That's all I want for her, so of course she'd want the same for us.
There must be something you want.
I just want to make you happy.
Is she broken? What's going on?
I think she is broken, yes. She's changing into an alien.
What's going on is she's lying to you, only she isn't a good liar. Are you starting to trust me now?
Well, I do sort of like the narrator ever since the first ending, I will have to say, but at the same time... What is this? But what would make you happy?
I just want to make you happy.
No! No, no, no. That looks closer to that blade monstrosity I had at one point.
This isn't right. I don't know what's going on, but this isn't right. I fail to see the problem here. She's just sweet on us. You don't have to act like it's a big deal.
Well, the long quiet is approaching behind us. And the Princess of the Void is coming. Okay, clearly something is happening here and I'm very scared. What if we just don't do anything? What if we just stay here? Nobody gets hurt and we just figure out a way to be happy together. Or... You know, I think... Well... You need your own thing. You just met me. You can't base your entire happiness just around me.
Okay, if that's what makes you happy.
Is it just me, or does it feel like we're alone right now? Like we're the only ones here?
Yeah, the world has ended. The narrator is gone. God, what on earth? So we could see live her changing. She changed live right in front of us. You don't get a chance to ask what makes you happy one more time. Nor will you ever. It's time for you to leave.
No. She was our perfect match.
You'll find there's plenty of fish in the seas, man.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her?
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
Is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why now?
I approached the mirror.
This doesn't feel right. It feels different. Final. Yes. I fear that we won't like what we'll see. What if we just sit here and preen for a while? That can't hurt, right?
The voices feel small, distant as you approach. Silence as you reach forward, they're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave. You're unraveled. You find yourself in the long quiet once again. You are at the cabin.
There's a world beyond the endless walls of the long quiet. We're supposed to be there. Do you know what we'll find out there?
No. Is that a rhetorical question? Do you know? Do you want to tell me?
Rhetorical. I am not rhetorical. I have only known these spaces, and I have known flickers of the lives you've brought me. Short and violent and full of passion. But all of those flickers end where the long quiet begins. I'm asking you because I cannot know your mind. Do you know what we'll find out there?
I'm ready to go back. Actually, vessels.
1. Whatever you bring me next will be enough, and then gravity will pull the others back to me. I will be singular, a final multitude.
Okay, so I'll just keep on playing until the end then, because there's only one more left. I was contemplating taking a break, but I need to find out what how this ends now.
The next time I see you, each of us will finally know what we are. I will be here, waiting for you.
Everything goes dark and you die.